Hey, my friends, how are you today? This is my daily sober video blog. Welcome. And today, the number is I've been sober for 14,260 days. That's 39 years and 15 days, or 468 months and 15 days. Who would have thought? It's kind of humbling and kind of amazing to me as I get further and further away from that dangerous intersection of drugs and alcohol in life. And I look over my shoulder sometimes and I kind of forget the journey I've taken. There was something, Alcoholics Anonymous had this really interesting quote, and I wanted to share it with you. And it really applies to me, and I hope it applies to you in your thinking as well. And the quote is, "I have found that the process of discovering who I really am begins with knowing who I really don't want to be." And of course, that leads to deciding to become sober, whether, like with me, court ordered, and you're basically trained to think a different way. And when people ask me about it, I say, well, I was in jail and I thought, this is my idea of fun. Maybe I should have a different idea of fun. But that's me just looking back over 39 years and glossing over and trying to make a quick little statement to sum up all those years. And it's not, that doesn't do it any justice. When I was in lockup, and then I got sentenced, and then I had sentenced 2 years. We stayed for probation, but I'd have to go through treatment. Well, what was treatment? And I didn't know what treatment was. As far as I knew, it would be like a pill. Can I take some more pills? But that wasn't the case. And so I ended up being locked up, only out Monday through Friday during the day to work, at night and weekends completely locked up. And that's when the treatment, AA, Narcotics Anonymous, the Circle, we had 12 guys. I used to call us the Dirty Dozen. And there was another group of guys that was a different group that met at different times, although we were in the same lockup and we ate together or whatever. But they divided us up right away, so it was like two different clubs. Then there were people who were coming out of the prison system that had parole officers they had to see and talk to, and then they were allowed to leave for a period of time, a couple hours, and come back. Just a little taste of freedom for them because they've been under lockup for so long. And that was kind of strange for me too, because I even thought, wow, I'm in here with people that are getting out for manslaughter. And I would think that I'm not as dangerous as these folks, but then again, being drunk and behind the wheel of a car, cheers, I could have easily killed someone too, or myself. So yeah, I was in the manslaughter club. But it was kind of interesting to, when I think back, like I say, it was like, well, I want to try to find something that was a different definition of fun. And it's like, that's just me just glossing over it. I mean, I'll tell you, the first week, almost 2 weeks, I had to learn the art of crying silently. So even though you're crying, you don't want your roommate or other people hearing it. You didn't want to hear that because you had your pride, false pride or not. I wasn't about to start opening up that soon in front of people. And I didn't want to open up at all. Later on, I found out in treatment, that's your role, to open up. And then you do open up. And you continue to open up. But at the time, I had no idea. And I just wanted to cry silently. So I learned to cry silently. And the strange thing is that when you're crying, tears are coming out, you're hyperventilating, and it takes a while, but maybe a minute or 2 or 3 or 4, you finally calm down. But when you're doing it a little at a time, it's like leaking out a gallon of water slowly. So it takes longer for the tears to come out if you're doing it silently. It takes longer to do it because you're trying to make sure no one can hear you. And you elongate that pain and that cry for, could be a half hour. And that's how I spent a lot of my nights, crying myself to sleep, wondering, what am I going to do? How am I going to get out of this? Why did I get myself in this? Am I really that bad? I don't think I'm that bad of a guy. I was. But you can't just say, Your Honor, I was misled by my own bad actions, and now I see the light of day, and I believe I should be free to go. It doesn't work that way. You know, it's like whenever you hear someone say something stupid that just recently happened, and they're like, oh, what, too soon? Yeah, you can't be joking about too soon. I had this friend of mine, she posted a meme while she was still suffering from trying to detox from cocaine. And the meme said, all I want is $2 million and an 8-ball. And I got pissed at her. She's like, why are you so mad? It's just a joke. I'm like, You've been detoxing from cocaine for about a month. That's not fucking funny. I have been off it for 39 years. I can make a joke about it. You cannot. Because when you do that, it looks like you're being frivolous and flippant, and you're not taking your role in life very seriously. And then you're going to wonder why people aren't taking you seriously. And then you're going to get all upset and think, I've been working hard, I've been sober for months, and nobody seems to take me seriously. I'm going back to drugs. You talk yourself right into it. You actually set yourself up. And it's a classic cliche thing that drug addicts do. We play that little game because we got one foot in the drug world and we can just get in there. All we got to do is just shift your weight to this foot. Hey guys, I'm back. And if you use that as your go-to plan, that's even, I always say, like, your enemies have the sweetest voices. Now you are your own enemy. And with the sweetest voice, you already have a game plan on how to just go ahead and go back to the drug world. Not a good idea. Not a good idea. It makes you laugh too, because she would say things like, when she would admit that she really effed up, she would say, not a good look. It wasn't a good look. Yeah, that doesn't get you off the hook either. That just identifies that you're doing something wrong, but you've got a lot of hard work to do. I know, I do bad things, I'm a shit person. That's just describing yourself right now. That doesn't cure anything. You're not going in any particular direction. You just want to get off the hook by saying that? How about I just give you a belt and you can just flog yourself for the day and go, okay, I beat myself with a belt. Look at the welts. Okay, I'm cured now. No, it doesn't work that way either. So looking back when I was going through that was a very frightening time because you're crying yourself to sleep quietly so no one can hear you. Then you start going to treatment. They're asking you to open up. So you tell a few stories. You're basically just telling funny stories. I did this when I was drunk, and oh man, we had a good time. We went over here and we did this and we did that. And the counselor will always say, and you'll hear this, look, we're not here to hear war stories. That's what they would call them, as war stories. You're like your bragging rights. And you're not opening up and making yourself vulnerable to other people and exposing yourself in your inner feelings, because we fear rejection. And if you fear rejection and you don't address it, then you try to cover it up so you don't feel so uncomfortable, and you're really not helping or healing yourself. You might tell a story, but you're not letting that pressure out. You're not letting that emotion out. You're not dealing, as they say, doing the hard work, because it takes time. It takes a while for us addicts to get a handle on our situation, even though we're detoxing. I mean, there were guys, I was lucky enough, I didn't see things, but guys would see bugs all over the walls. And some guys scratching their skin up because they could actually, said they could see and feel the bugs underneath their skin, and they were just tearing it apart. So I mean, we all react to detoxing in a whole different way, and some of us have nightmares. Some of us can't sleep. I tend to still sleep in little pieces and patterns now, I guess, because I never really. Maybe it's because you get older too, you know. Like the old Paul Simon song, you know. I don't sleep through the night. And maybe I'm a dog that's lost its bite. I don't expect to be treated like a fool no more. I don't expect to sleep through the night. Some people say, why deny the obvious, child? You know, it's just, we end up trying to do the best we can, but the whole time when we first start off, we're trying to cover our ass and our emotions and not try to humiliate ourselves. So we're actually not being very truthful and being open and honest about things. And it takes a while. I think that's the most important thing with me. They locked me up, you know, for almost a half a year. I could get out and work, but I was still in lockup, and it was intensive care. Sometimes like these really fancy Hollywood detox things are in there for a month. Really not much. It's just barely a start. And I remember one girl told me she was in there for 5 days. 5 days. Oh, if you saw the things that I was locked up for almost 6 months. What are you talking about? I saw far worse than you. 5 days? It was horrible. 5 days? I could hold my fart in for 5 days. What are you talking about? You barely got your toe in the pool. Shut up. So, you know, some of these little quick clinic things they're not right. They'll just take your money. They're actually just trying to take your money, give you an idea what you need to do, but don't hold you to anything. So you end up half-assing it. And when that happens, you know, you end up not doing what you should be doing. And you end up suffering yourself, which is a shame. And in the end, you end up failing, and you feel even more humiliated because you weren't able to do it and be sober. And that's hard. That's not an easy thing for us to even identify with. And like I say, when I was in there, I thought, oh my God, I'm gonna have to talk more about my feelings. And my feelings, when you're detoxing, they're all over the place. You're excited, you're sad, you're relieved, you're pressured. It's like a roller coaster of emotions, and you don't even have a handle on them. So everything's like a turmoil inside of you. And you're laughing, you're crying, you're laughing, you're trying to hide your tears. You don't want everyone to know you're crying. Then when you get in the circle, and you have to, they make you talk deeper with follow-up questions, that's when the tears actually come. So all 12 of us guys had different times where we're telling stories, and all of a sudden we'd break down and cry. There are some times where I think back and I tell a story about back then, and I get emotional. The other day I was driving and dropping this fella off, and he said, hey man, I want to tell you something. I said, yeah. It was really fun talking with you and riding along with you. Oh, well, thank you. I had a good time myself too. And I film these because these are on the daily drive-by where we meet people in Houston. And a lot of them are just regular people just going to work or coming around. If I mention I've been sober from drugs and alcohol for 39 years, they usually say, that's a blessing, that's great. But then sometimes they have a story. Like my brother has trouble, my mom has trouble. Man, I've been sober for 9 years. And then all of a sudden the dialogue really opens up and you're talking to a stranger. But to me, it's like I'm talking to a brother and a sister and I'm in that circle again. That's part of being open with it all the time. And there are people that don't want to hear it. They could be having a beer. I'm not going to say, hey, I've been sober for 39 years. Like, yeah, that's kind of a downer at a party. But you don't see me in a lot of those kind of parties. And if I do, I'm in and out pretty quickly. And I don't like to go. I don't mind if someone's drinking with me. It's not temptation. Am I tempting you? No, you can have your beer and you can bend over too. I'm fine. You're not going to tempt me either way. But the thing is that if I go to a party late and they've already been in their third, sixth, or seventh beer, then I can't match their frequency. I'm like, God, you're already out of sync. But if I'm with them 2-3 beers into it, they tend to slowly deteriorate as they're relaxing, and then I can actually still ride with them, but I don't do the whole ride anymore because it doesn't interest me. It's kind of like probably like the reason why a priest doesn't watch a whole porno, but he might get a glimpse of it. But he's not going to watch the whole thing. He's not in it for the finishing shot. But or maybe he is. I don't know. Bad example, I know. Everything's on the cuff with me, or off the cuff. But it was hard to expose yourself in front of people and suddenly cry over something. And we had to write, basically, back in the day, they weren't called blogs then, but you'd have to write like in a diary, a story in long form hand. Why? Because it takes a while to write. You formulate your thoughts. You try to dig deeper. And even if you don't, they'll stop you while you're reading it and they'll dig even deeper. So you're giving them a pathway to your psyche, your subconscious, and your past history, and then they can dig even deeper into it if they find something intriguing or interesting and feel that this might help you unveil some more things to yourself. Or like the Peter Gabriel song about treatment was called Digging in the Dirt. You're actually digging in your own dirt, and it's a mess. And you're the one trying to figure out where you're at with that. And that's when the tears come, and they come pretty hard and they come pretty fierce. And at first, the guys are uncomfortable. They giggle or laugh or smirk or look at you like, wow, what a puss. But know this, all 12 of us cried many times before we got released from treatment. So you can mock and you can scoff people and go, pfft, but eventually you're going to be crying, and you're going to be crying hard. And you're going to tap into stuff that you didn't even realize was deep inside of you. That's why they call it doing the hard work. Because once you start, with me anyways, I actually kind of got off on it and I wanted to dig deeper. Part of me was like, if I really do this hard enough, they'll let me out early. But even that didn't even work because my anger counselor kept me an extra month in lockup. And as I told him, I said, well, great, now you just pissed me off. You're an anger counselor. You're supposed to invoke anger. But yeah, what he saw of me, he didn't know me as well. And it was fine that he did it. But as I look back in hindsight, I have an issue with authority. And I like to tweak authority's nose. I still do it to this day. And sometimes it's self-righteous. Sometimes it's unnecessary. Sometimes I think I'm just doing it to get my own rocks off and my own jollies, just to make sure I keep myself sharp. Probably not recommended for people to do, but I am kind of controversial and I go against the grain. But I would never want anyone to say, well, that's why you've been sober for 39 years, so I'm gonna do it this way. Wouldn't recommend it. Quick example was 7 months, 8 months into, I just got released from treatment a couple months, and then I was working for my father. He's a heating and sheet metal man, but he was doing roofing, so I was doing roofing with them. Then come the fall in Minnesota, it's fall, winter, you're not gonna do any roofing. So my probation officer, I said I didn't have a job and I'm looking for one, and she said, well, you better find one. I said, well, of course, yeah. No, you better find one, because if you don't, you're gonna go back to jail, and you're gonna violate your probation, and you're gonna be in lockup for 2 years and not let out until your time is done served, plus the 1.5 years on top of that. So it'll be 3.5 years. I'm like, what? So I got a job because I always worked in the restaurants too. This was the only time I didn't work in a restaurant. And because I couldn't work at nights, I had to work during the day. And I was locked up at nights and weekends. But I ended up being a bartender, but I didn't tell her that until 3 weeks into it when she asked, how's your job? And I said, fine. Showed her my paychecks, proof that I had a job. And then, oh, you're cooking then? No. Are you a server? No. Oh, you're assistant manager, kitchen manager, because you know how to run the kitchen? No. What are you? I'm a bartender. Poof! Oh, did she get mad? Oh, did she yell at me? Me and her never got along either. And every time in the next 2 years, every single time that I walked into the courthouse and into her office, she randomly drug tested me every time. Randomly, of course, but every time. So I ended up passing, and that kind of, I'm stubborn and I have a problem with authority. So I said, well, great. She's gonna help me stay sober just by motivating me to keep me have resentment against her. And I even told her, I said, you know what? This is a great idea. I can make a little extra money. What do you mean? Well, I could have a new revenue stream, pardon the pun. Well, what are you talking about? Well, you're testing me all the time and I'm passing. Yes, you are. I could sell my urine to the guys with little vials out there that are waiting, because some of these guys look pretty fucking sketchy. I bet you they'd buy my piss. You better not. Hey, you're the one that's teaching me how to color between the lines. You're the one that's helped me stay sober. It's not against, if you get caught doing that, we will revoke your probation. Okay. I never did, but I did it just to aggravate her every time because she would randomly drug test me. So it was a very combative 2 years, to say the least. But I wouldn't recommend fighting with your probation officer either, because it's hard to turn that into motivation. You know, it can really backfire, and it can backfire in a really big way. And you don't want that. You want to make sure that you're not putting yourself in that type of a situation. Anyways, that is a little touch on the subject of my daily video sobriety blog. Once again, 14,260 days, 39 years and 15 days, 468 months and 15 days. And I appreciate you checking in. Please like, subscribe, comment. If you have any questions, put those in the thing as well. And any suggestions that you might want me to cover. I'm going to slowly go through stuff as I look over my shoulder and talk about things that I went through. And hopefully, I mean, a lot of stuff I did was maybe not traditional, and you might not want to follow it, but at least you get a chance to hear it and try to apply it to your situation, because even though we're all addicts and we're all alcoholics and we all have trouble, we're at different stages of our sobriety, and we have different personalities, so we come at the same problem from different angles. So it's not a good idea for you just to go ahead and join me. I'm not to be followed. I'm to be a person you walk side by side with, and someone who can encourage you, or someone that you can actually encourage like you encourage me. So thank you for that. I just want to say I appreciate you following us and being part of our community. Thank you very much. I'll leave you with the words of Ringo. Peace and love, everybody. Peace and love. I appreciate you. And I love each and every one of you. And I sincerely hope that your journey is a good one and you profit through life by your maneuvers of being sober. And you're fertilizing the ground or seeding the ground of your garden that's going to grow, and your family and your lifestyle and your love is going to grow with it. And you can look back over your shoulder, and then you can see what you've done. And then you can, and some of you have been sober for 1, 2, 3, 15, 20 years, share some of the things that worked for you with others. Your words are important. Your meaning is important. Your involvement is important. So thank you. I love each and every one of you, and I appreciate you, and I'll see you on the next sobriety video vlog. See you. Bye.